The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of the SCU Show. I'm your host, SCU. Very glad to be back after a couple weeks off, and a lot of stuff to cover tonight. It's a lot of big points, a lot of big things going on. We got some football, we got some basketball, we got a little bit of baseball, not too much baseball. I want to start off the show with some breaking news. If you are living under a rock and don't have social media, you wouldn't know until you listen to this podcast that former Blue Jays and Phillies pitcher Roy Halladay has died in a plane crash. It was first reported that I saw that the plane was owned by Halladay. Nobody knew it was actually him. It was him. So to start off the show, I just want to send my condolences to the Phillies, the Blue Jays, Halladay's family, and may he rest in peace. It's very sad. I remember watching him 2010. Remember, Ken Roosevelt tweeted this out. 2010, he had a no-hitter against the Reds in the playoffs. 10 years later, almost 10 years later, he's gonzo. It's sad. Such a shame. Scary that life is just snap your finger, life is over. That's how fast it can come, how fast it can go. But we're positive here on the SCU Show. We're not going to talk about death anymore. That's it. I just want to say rest in peace Roy Halladay. It's a shame, and he will surely be missed. So let's get into this. Let's get into the NFL, of course. We got to start with the NFL because that's the big thing here on the SCU Show. Jimmy Garoppolo gets traded to the San Francisco 49ers, and the Niner faithful go nuts. Oh my God. We have a franchise quarterback. We have the next Steve Young. What do you have as a backup quarterback? I mean, literally, that's what he started as. He's a backup quarterback. And he's been there 2 weeks already. You would think after... Actually, I was if Brian Hoyer didn't work out because he's gone. C.J. Beathard's not working out too well. He's a rookie. You can't blame him there. But they're starting a rookie. He's not doing too well. Why not start Garoppolo? You guys got him, didn't you? You wanted him so bad. And you're not even now San Francisco's not even going to start. Oh, we're going to start him next year. No, you're not. This has been an ongoing rumor for the longest time, and I'm pretty sure everybody's heard it at this point. Kirk Cousins is expected to sign with the 49ers in March. Yeah, it's happening. I mean, why wouldn't it happen? Why wouldn't it have? Why? I'll talk about this similar with LeBron later. Why does Kirk Cousins need to stay in Washington? What is the point of him staying in Washington? There's no point of him staying there. His leading receiver, I saw the stat on the herd today. His leading receiver is his running back. That is sad. When you are a quarterback, you want your wide receivers, you want your tight ends to be your top receiver. When it's your running back, there's a problem. That's not good. When your running back is your top receiver. So, Kirk Cousins, he's not staying in Washington. And Jimmy Garoppolo, but Jimmy Garoppolo is so good. He did so well with the Patriots. Why would he do well with the 49ers? Well, here's why. First of all, Garoppolo started 3 games against... Let me look this up so I have it right here in my notes. Carson Palmer, Ryan Tannehill, and Brock Osweiler. Wow, he beat 3 mediocre quarterbacks in his career, in his starting career. That's amazing. Congratulations, props to him. Come on, it's ridiculous that we're praising Garoppolo. I'm not trying to hate on Garoppolo, but he's not the next Steve Young. Niner faithful are nuts for thinking that. Everybody's nuts for thinking that. A lot of people are thinking, the Niners got their best quarterback now. Yeah, his name's Kirk Cousins. He's still in Washington until March. When he's a free agent in March, watch out. He's there. He's coming. He's coming to San Francisco. I'll tell you that right now. And for those saying that Garoppolo is very good and all that, the only reason he was good with the Patriots in the time he started with Tom Brady's absence, Bill Belichick was his coach. That system makes any quarterback look good. Brian Hoyer could start and look very good in the game. Obviously, Brian Hoyer's not a good quarterback. We've seen that over the past few years. So I'm not buying this Garoppolo thing in San Francisco. No knock on Kyle Shanahan, but he's no Bill Belichick. You know, everybody thinks, oh, but he's done so well. He's no Bill Belichick. He's not going to make Garoppolo the next Steve Young. Garoppolo's not going to be the next Steve Young regardless. He did well in New England. That doesn't mean anything. Many players have done well in New England and gone on to do nothing. It's kind of like how people overhype Brock Osweiler. Oh boy, Brock Osweiler, 4 years, $72 million. Houston has their first ever franchise quarterback. Really? And the reason people were saying that they had their next franchise quarterback was because C.J. Anderson beat the Patriots in the snow on a Sunday night game. Brock Osweiler had nothing to do with that. Garoppolo has a couple good games. He beat the Cardinals on a really bad night for Arizona. He almost blew a lead against the Miami defense that's just god awful. And he almost lost Brock Osweiler. So let's stop piping of Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not the next Steve Young. Kirk Cousins will be there in 2018. Book it. You heard it here first on the SCU Show. It's going to happen. Kind of like the next topic we're going to get into. Kirk Cousins will be a 49er in September of 2018. Well, March of 2018, but he's going to start for them in 2018. I mean, and speaking of quarterbacks not doing well, after knowing New England, I brought this up earlier. Look at Brissett. Brissett went to the Colts. Oh, they found the next Andrew Luck. No, they haven't. They found another crap quarterback. It's garbage. He's terrible. Well, not terrible, but he's obviously not doing well. Belichick breaks quarterbacks. Great. Brady wasn't good until he met Belichick. And then another thing. Some people like to forget this. Jimmy Garoppolo will be a free agent next year. Why would the 49ers decide, let's sign a guy that we backed up with the rookie? That's dumb. It makes no sense. I just don't get it. Even if he does start this year, which I don't expect him to, I don't think he will start this year at all for the Niners. If he doesn't do well this year, he's out the door. There's no way they're going to sign him, because they're going to see, oh, this is what he's bringing us. This is it. This is what we traded for. Yikes! We don't want this guy. So Garoppolo's out the door regardless. But if he starts, they're going to see why they should get him out the door and bring Kirk Cousins. There's another big trade that I saw, over the draft period, whatever. Kelvin Benjamin went to the Buffalo Bills. What a trade for that. For the Bills, that was a big trade for them. Clearly, he was a big factor not playing Thursday night against the Jets last week. But who cares? I mean, he's going to play this week. They play the Saints defense. That is going to be a very good game. I can't wait for that. Just wait until he plays the Saints defense. I mean, the Saints have won 6 in a row. They committed 12 turnovers this year, which I believe is tops in the NFL. And they have to go up against Kelvin Benjamin, one of the best, who can be one of the best receivers in the league. But his quarterback was Cam Newton, and Newton was throwing him the ball. Newton was running more than he was throwing. It's going to be very interesting to see Kelvin Benjamin. I love the trade for Buffalo. I love it. I mean, they were 5-2. They're 5-3 now. Lost to the Jets. A 5-3 team that they didn't have a top target. I mean, Tyrod Taylor didn't have a top target. Try saying that 5 times fast. Tyrod Taylor, top target. It's 5 times fast. Now Tyrod Taylor has a top target in Kelvin Benjamin. That's just wow. That's going to go from a 5-3 team to a 9-3 team. I think Saints will win in Buffalo, but Bills are looking like they could be a playoff team, and they just got Kelvin Benjamin. They could make a serious playoff run with Kelvin Benjamin and Tyrod Taylor working together. I don't know what the deal was with Sammy Watkins outside of his injuries, but Kelvin Benjamin, he's stayed healthy so far, so that's a plus for the Bills. That's a playoff team right there. That's a wild card team. They're not, because the Patriots will win a division. Despite their struggles this year, they've done a lot better in October than they did in September. But getting Benjamin for Buffalo is huge. As for Carolina, they're just digging themselves a deeper hole. They already have Craig Olsen. He's pretty much out for the year with a broken foot. Devin Funchess is not the guy they bought in. They expected him to be out of Michigan. I liked him coming out of Michigan. I wanted to see him do well. He hadn't done anything. It's a shame. I mean, the Panthers are digging themselves a hole. They're pretty much looking to rebuild at this point with Cam Newton. They're not saying, "Oh, we're get Cam Newton's out." No, Cam Newton's going to be there the next 4 or 5 years, but they need to find receivers for him. Yeah, as far as Carolina goes, though, they better hope Devin Funchess does well. If Devin Funchess doesn't do anything in Carolina, I mean, their season's already blown pretty much because New Orleans is doing well. Atlanta's hanging on a thread right there. And, I mean, Tampa's no competition, but the Panthers are digging themselves a hole. Looks like they're not going to go to the playoffs again this year. And then they just got rid of Kelvin Benjamin. Way to go. I don't understand what the point of what the what is the thought process? That's the phrase. I don't understand what the thought process around that is. I don't. But that's on the Panthers, and best of luck to them the rest of the way. They're not going to be doing so well without Kelvin Benjamin. Now I'm going to switch over to the NBA now. This is a life lesson. This is for anybody listening and you're down, you're whatever. If you're down, remember this. In life, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Working at fast food, working retail, starting a TV job, radio job. When you first start out, you are never as good as you become. Unless you're Simba from The Lion King, which he was great and then did nothing for a long time. But in life, when we start something, we're not really instantly good at it. Take me, for example. I work my job. Oh God, I can't tell you how many mistakes I made when I first started my job almost a year ago. Like, it was just absolutely mind-boggling how many mistakes I made when I first started my job. But you focus in life. When you struggle, all you have to do is focus on it. Focus on whatever the problem is. The problem will go away. You'll get better at it. So it could be said for Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball has not had a great first 10 games. And everyone's like, oh, you think LeBron James will play with that? No way. There's no way LeBron James is going to play with that. Why not? Because he had bad 10 games? There's 72 games left. Plus, who does he have to work with? Brandon Ingram's not doing anything. And there's no team around Lonzo. You have to put a team around somebody sometimes to make it happen. He's going to improve. I tell you that right now. Like he will continue to focus on his game. Maybe him and LaMelo Ball, LaMelo being homeschooled. Maybe them two will get together in the backyard at LeVar's house. Play some. What is it called? Pickup. Play a pickup game or just shoot hoops or something. No matter what, Lonzo is going to improve. And then next year, LeBron's coming to town. So if you don't think he'll improve after next year's, you're nuts. Because he is going to skyrocket next year. Like, he might have a bad year this year. But I do think he will improve this year. He might have a bad year next year. Or this year, excuse me. But next year, up over the top. He's going absolutely over the top. And then there's the other side of the story. LeBron. There is no, and I guarantee, absolutely no way LeBron is staying in Cleveland. There is absolutely, it's like Kirk Cousins. I brought this up earlier. No way Kirk Cousins stays in Cleveland because there's no point. Kirk Cousins stays in Washington. There's no point. Time to move on in life. You come to that point in life where you just have to move on. LeBron's already done this. He's already moved on because he wasn't happy. He went to Miami for 4 years, and he just missed home, I guess. Whatever the case might have been. He's happening again. He's not going to stay in Cleveland. First of all, his best friend. Let's start with that. I wanted to go into Kyrie Irving being with Boston now, the hottest team in the league, got the 7-2 record. Probably going to change when this podcast comes on WTNet.com. Kyrie's gone. His backup, his buddy on that team last year, the past couple of years. Like, they were such good friends. for the past 3-4 years. Now he's gone. He just up and left because he wanted to be a leader, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be a leader. Everyone should want to be a leader. And then you bring in D Wade. You bring in Isaiah Thomas. Oh my God, the Cavs are going to do so good. Well, obviously it hasn't worked out that way. We start off with Dwayne Wade, his best friend in the world, LeBron's best friend. Them two are going to run over everybody in the Eastern Conference. I said this myself. I'm wrong. I was wrong. Clearly, Boston's the best team in the East right now, but that can always change. It's only November. First 3-4 weeks in the season. Nobody really pays attention until after the All-Star break anyway. Nobody starts focusing until after the All-Star break anyway. But as of right now, LeBron is not going to stay in Cleveland next year. He's going elsewhere. So yeah, they bought in Dwayne Wade. And everyone's like, oh, guys, going to be such good, to be awesome. LeBron and D-Wade working together again. D-Wade's riding the bench. Ooh. Didn't work out as they planned. Clearly. Isaiah Thomas, the superstar from Boston. Oh, he's out till January. Damn. Yeah, I mean, then next year, Dwayne Wade's going back to Miami because he's on a 1-year deal. He won't go back to Cleveland. He won't find a reason to. He wants to retire. He's going to play with the Heat 1 more year, 2 more years, then retire. And then there's Derrick Rose. You can't forget Derrick Rose. I wanted to see him do something good in Cleveland, but clearly not happening. He's not injured. That's a plus. But he's just not doing as well as he could be. Hey, what are you going to do? Plus, you compare Cleveland to Los Angeles. Los Angeles is the best. I mean, it's probably one of the most expensive cities to live in America. But it's also one of the best cities to live in America. Cleveland, you got the Browns, who are terrible. The Indians had a 22-game win streak, but then they couldn't finish in the playoffs. The Browns are the Browns. I mean, you got the Gladiators, the Monsters, but nobody pays attention to minor league. I'm not saying that the other teams are going to affect LeBron's decision, but he's just very unhappy in Cleveland. Everybody knows it. And this is another rumor being ongoing, just like Kirk Cousins. LeBron going to L.A. He's already has a house in L.A. His wife wants him to move to L.A. Why not? Plus, look who else is going to be a free agent. Joel Embiid, Karl Anthony Towns, Paul George will be a free agent next year. That's the big one. I've heard Paul George is going to go to Los Angeles and join the Lakers in 2018 free agency. And I've heard LeBron's going with him. It's going to be a big 3 in Los Angeles next year. Oh my God, I can't wait for July 1st. It's going to be such a great game. I have a big feeling this team's going to be very good next year. Clearly it's going to be very good next year. LeBron, Paul George, and Lonzo Ball. Going to be a great team. Can't wait for that. It's going to be awesome. July 1st, 2018 is free agency begins. And the Lakers have a super team. Can't wait. Alright, so I want to talk a little bit of baseball right here. So the baseball season's over. The Astros won the World Series. I was not expecting them to beat the Dodgers. I felt like the Dodgers were a stronger team than the Astros, especially because the Astros are a much younger team. They got guys in their early 20s, late 20s. Clay Shaw's hitting 40, I believe. Yasiel Puig looks very old. But I still felt the Dodgers had more experience. They had more power. Clearly, that doesn't matter. Because the Astros won in 7 games, and they just blew them out the water in Game 7. That was just an ugly game. 5-0 in the 3rd inning, and I was like, oh, God. That's it. I can't believe the Astros won the World Series. Because I had to go to bed early that night. So I didn't watch the whole game. I was like, oh, God. Really? Really? I couldn't. I was really disappointed. I really wanted the Dodgers to win in 6. I was really hoping. I was really viewing that. I really thought it was going to happen. But, nonetheless, the Astros are the world champs of baseball. So it's time to look to 2018. More like time to look forward to 2019. Because 2018 is going to be very predictable. We already know at this point who's going to be in the playoffs for the Major League Baseball season next year. For the American League, you're going to have the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Indians, the Twins, and the Astros. And then in the NL, you have the Dodgers, the Cubs, the Nats, And everyone's going to be surprised by this. The Milwaukee Brewers. They're the Minnesota Twins of the National League. They have persevered big time last year. I don't believe Milwaukee made the playoffs due to the division. But they're going to be a playoff team next year. They're going to get the wild card. I have the wild card against the Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals, another team that just fell short of the playoffs. That's going to be a very good, interesting wild card game. And I feel the Brewers will beat out the Cardinals. I feel like they're more persistent. I feel like they're a lot more persistent than the Cardinals. The Cardinals don't have much power anymore. They haven't had power since, what's his name, Albert Pujols left. Since Albert Pujols left St. Louis, it's been not much. I mean, they got rid of Matt Holliday a long time ago. Got rid of Pujols left. I mean, they just don't have anything anymore. Meanwhile, Milwaukee still has Ricky Weeks. You have Ryan Braun. Have good pitching. So I would see the Brewers beat the Cardinals in the wild card game, and they can make a playoff run, depending who they play in the NLDS next year. But that's my surprise team. Very good team. And Minnesota also surprise team. They went from 100 losses to 100, or not to 100 wins. They went from 100 losses to playoffs last year. You think this team's going to sit back and be like, okay, we went to the playoffs, now we're done? No. They're going to keep pushing. They're going to keep pushing. And they're going to get into the playoffs again next year. Don't know if they'll do anything, but they're going to get to the playoffs next year as well. Before I get to my World Series prediction, because I do have that first in my notes above everything else, I want to talk about Aaron Judge. He's not going to do the way he did last year, which means he's not going to hit 42 home runs, 44 home runs, however many home runs he hit. He's not going to do it again. But he also will not strike out as much as he did. He's going to, like Alonzo Ball, he's going to focus. He's going to remember this. Like right now, Aaron Judge is probably, I don't know where he is, doing something that celebrities do, whatever that might be. Aaron Judge is somewhere thinking about his 2 records that he did not want. Consecutive strikeouts, most strikeouts in the postseason. Nobody wants that type of record. He's doing what he does, thinking about that. He's like, next year must come back stronger. So once winter hits, he's gonna hit the batting cages. I tell you that now, he's gonna hit the batting cages. He's gonna be like, all right, time to improve. He's gonna start, and next year, he's going to improve batting wise. He's not gonna hit 40 home runs again. He might hit 20 or 30. Not gonna hit 40 again. That was a very good year though. As a Yankee fan, I like having Judge, and I was almost right too. In my baseball preview, I said the Nats would beat the Yankees. I was so close. The Nats lost in the NLDS on controversy to the Cubs, and the Yankees lost Game 7 in blowout fashion. But next year, Aaron Judge is going to step up at the plate. He's not going to hit as many home runs, but he will get more hits, more extra bases, all that good stuff. He's going to have a good year. He's going to take a seat, but at the same time, he's going to get up. It's very confusing there. Bryce Harper, he's going to have another good year as well. I mean, come on, you expect nothing less from Bryce Harper. He's Bryce Harper. He's the Mike Trout of the National League. He's going to do well, and he's probably going to win the NLVP. I have a feeling he's going to win the National League MVP next year. As far as Mike Trout, he is actually out of the MVP race this year. First time in his career. He'll come back next year. He's Mike Trout. He's another very persistent guy. Mike Trout does not give in. He's like, oh man, I can't believe I'm not in the top 2 from my MVP race anymore. Alright guys, that's it for me. I'm done, so that's it. No, he's going to come back and he's going to be like, alright, I want this. This is mine. I want this MVP award. Of course, the Angels want a trophy with him. They're not going to get it because he's the only guy on that team. If he wants the trophy, he'll go to the other side of the country and play in Boston with the Red Sox. But anyway, that's World Series prediction. I said it last year that I had the Nationals winning the World Series. They fell just short. Once again, here I am. I should say here I am once again. A lot of my friends would have got the reference. But anyway, Nationals over the Astros. I feel like the Astros are really good. Like, the Yankees can't beat the Astros right now because that's a really old Yankees team outside of Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez. That's going to be very, very good series, I feel. I mean, if the Astros give Dodgers trouble, I can't imagine what they're going to do with the younger Nationals. It's going to be a very exciting series. Can't wait for it. Nationals over Astros right now for my World Series in 2018. All right, so we got about 20 minutes left. I'm going to try. Well, I have 20 minutes left to my recording time, but I might not go 20 minutes left. But we're going to go right into college football now. And I'm going to talk about my college football playoff top 4. Okay, the fact that Georgia's number 1 right now, a little surprising. Just a little bit. But, I mean, this is a very tough team. They have a freshman quarterback in Jacob Fromm. I believe his name is Jacob Fromm, not Jacob Fromm. If it's Fromm, hey, whatever. You get the point. They have a freshman quarterback who took over after Jacob Eason was injured. And nobody, I don't think anybody thought that Jacob Fromm was going to do was what he's done so far, lead this team. Nick Chubb, probably the 3rd best running back in the country, behind Bryce Love of Stanford and Saquon Barkley of Penn State. Love Georgia. Number 1? I don't know. But they do deserve to be in the top 4. But here's my final top 4. Once the championship game is over, the first week of December, we're going to get I believe first Tuesday of December, we get the college football playoff semifinal matchups and all that good stuff. Here are my top 4, who I feel will be my top 4 at the end of the year. 1, Bama. They're Bama. You can't not give Bama the top spot. They've had it ever since Nick Saban's been in there. Back in when he came 10 years ago, 2007 was Nick Saban's first year. They've been number 1 ever since, outside of losing to a couple teams like Texas A&M, Johnny Manziel, 2013, 2012, whatever it might have been. Bama at 1. 2, Georgia. I mean, Georgia's a very good team. Like I said, they're very tough. They have a freshman quarterback, Jacob Fromm, however you want to say it. Very tough team. Nick Chubb, very good running back. I have Georgia at 2. Even if they lose to Bama, I have them in the playoff at 2. 3, I like this. Notre Dame. A couple weeks ago, everyone was like, oh, Notre Dame can run the table. They can win the title. They could be in the playoff. And I thought it was a joke. Because they had tough games coming up. They had NC State at home. They had to go to Miami. I don't think they'll beat either of those teams. They're 1-0 right now. They beat NC State. Now I'm buying Notre Dame. But they have this game Saturday against Miami. If they lose, that's it. But I do feel like they will beat Miami because Miami's a weak team. They're undefeated, but they don't deserve to be undefeated. Notre Dame, my 3rd team. Number 4, everyone's going to be like, what? What are you nuts? Oklahoma. Yeah. That is a tough team. Like, you want to talk tough? Wow. Even in losses, like the one loss they had against Iowa State, Baker Mayfield rushed for 4 touchdowns. I mean, he scored 4 total touchdowns. Pardon me. Baker Mayfield scored 4 total touchdowns in a loss. In Bedlam, he just had the game of his career. I mean, the whole team just clicked. The whole team just clicked all season. That's the reason they won in Columbus over Ohio State. That's the reason they outlasted Mason Rudolph and James Washington in Bedlam in Oklahoma State. Very tough team. I like Oklahoma at 4. So we will have Alabama against Oklahoma and I believe the Sugar Bowl. And Notre Dame would face Georgia in a rematch from this earlier season. The Georgia beat Notre Dame 2019 earlier this season in South Bend. They would meet in the Rose Bowl. That would be a really good game to watch. And I would definitely watch that over the Sugar Bowl because Alabama will blow Oklahoma out of the water. Then again, it could be a revenge game for 2013, but Bob Stoops isn't there. Lincoln Riley's a very young coach. I would think Alabama blows out Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl. I'd be watching the Rose Bowl. Georgia and Notre Dame just played a 1-point contest. Very close. I would love to see a rematch. But I do believe that Georgia would come out on top because, like I said, I didn't buy Notre Dame. I wouldn't buy them against Georgia because Georgia's a very tough team. So, as much as I hate it, and I hated this in 2011 too. In 2011, they had Alabama and LSU in the national title game, and it was disgusting. It was crap because I don't think that playing the same conference that you should be playing in the college football national championship game as well. I didn't like that idea. But I do believe Alabama and Georgia will meet for the second time in the national championship game in Atlanta. And it will be Alabama coming out on top for the second time because I believe Alabama will beat Georgia in the SEC title game. So Bama is my champion. I believe they will beat Georgia. course, we'll have to see. And my final four, Alabama, Georgia, Notre Dame, and Oklahoma. Yeah, Miami's going to lose possibly to Notre Dame. I believe they'll lose to Notre Dame. And then they won't win they're not going to win they're not going to win the ACC title game. NC State's a very tough team, and so is Clemson. So Miami has very tough teams. And, I mean, they also have Virginia Tech to go up against as well. Not Wisconsin, excuse me. Actually, I do want to talk about Wisconsin. That's another thing I want to talk about here on the show. Just to pretty much wrap it up here. I heard on the Herd today, Colin Cowherd was talking about how Wisconsin could definitely be a college football team, playoff team. I don't want to bring up their schedule because I don't understand this. I don't understand why we're putting Wisconsin in the college football playoff. But history tells me they probably may, if they win the Big Ten, get in and run the table. Because they do have to run the table, then win the Big Ten, then they would be in there. Because, undefeated, all that good stuff, blah, 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 blah. But history tells me they're going to get in, and I don't like it. First year, I didn't care. It was Oregon, Florida State, Bama, Ohio State, fine. Then you have Michigan State, and I was like, what? I hated Michigan State that they played in the college football playoff. I hated that. It was disgusting. Like, they did not belong. They only got it because they beat Michigan on a muff punt that was returned for a touchdown as time expired. Crap right there. A lot of crap. And then last year I had Washington. I felt they were overrated as hell. And they were. And then what happens to overrated teams? They get blown out. So let's see the Wisconsin schedule right here. That this team is going to make the college football playoff according to Colin and according to others. They beat Utah State, Florida Atlantic, BYU, Northwestern, Nebraska, Purdue, Maryland, Illinois, and Indiana. Whoa, what a dangerous team. They should definitely be in the college football playoff. What a joke. You serious? That's dumb. So dumb. In the opening schedule, okay, they play Iowa, good team. They could possibly lose to Iowa. See what they did to Ohio State? And Nathan Stanley's a great quarterback, by the way. Really good quarterback. Michigan's on the decline. They'll blow up Michigan, most likely. And Minnesota. This is not a college football playoff team. And if they make the college football playoff, I will root for them. I root against them. I root against them in the Big Ten championship game, whether they play Ohio State or Penn State. Most likely a rematch for Penn State. I root against them. So, to recap, Nats win the World Series. Bama wins the national title over Georgia, even though I don't like SEC. I don't like conference teams playing against each other in the national title game like 2011. Jimmy Garoppolo is not the answer in San Francisco. Kirk Cousins will be there. LeBron's going to Los Angeles. Stop telling me he's going to Cleveland because you're an idiot for thinking he's going to Cleveland. And that's it. That is it for this episode of the SCU Show. I'm your host, SCU. I want to thank you all for listening. Ready listening on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, WTuneNet.com, or wherever WTuneNet podcasts are available. And until next week, this has been the SCU Show.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit WTuneNet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.